if you're not that mentality, you're not going to want to go to the gym because you don't feel like dropping doing burpees. You don't feel like dropping and doing this, or the separating the body like that's possible. All right. So do you like working out? If so, or if not, stick around. This is the video for you. Hello, everybody. My name is Ryan. This is High Carb Regenerator. Welcome to my channel. So today I actually wanted to talk about a topic that is in this book, Turn Off the Fat Genes. And he talks about how genes influence your exercise. And so that's what I wanted to talk about. You are going to see that I rode my bike yesterday and I finally got a GoPro. I filmed that. So you're going to be seeing that in the background. So let's get started. All right. So I decided to buy a GoPro. I finally did it. It's charging right now. I've got the bike in the car. I haven't actually done too many bike rides this year. Outside. It's mostly been on the trainer. So I'm getting myself acclimated to actually riding outside again. It's not that warm. It's like 50 degrees. So it's not terribly cold, but not really warm either. I got my hoodie. Unfortunately, I realized just now I don't have any bottles for my bike. So that's interesting. At least it's not like stupid cold or stupid warm. So I'm going to chug a bunch of water before I go for my ride, and that's what it's going to be. So I'm going to get used to using this GoPro, and I will see you on the bike. All right, so one of the things that I like to talk or wanted to talk about is exercise. And I know a lot of people in my comment section said that they don't like doing it, or, they don't have time or whatever it is. So I wanted to talk about that. I wanted to talk about how basically the Western countries, most of them, have kind of turned working out into a profit. Not a profit like Jesus or anything, like a profit of how much money can we make off this? Because back in the day, exercise really wasn't a thing. Like you would just work out in the field, or you didn't have a car because you were in the city and you did a lot of walking or something like that, right? But since we moved out from the city, or since we moved out from the farm in the suburbs, those are the people who you usually see that are kind of overweight, don't really like working out because they're already stressed to the max. They've already got too much going on in their life. And the last thing they feel like doing is going to the quote unquote gym. And I completely agree with that. I completely agree with that. I haven't had a gym membership in some years now. Probably maybe a year before the ankle surgery. And I don't miss it, right? Because what the Western world has done is they have stripped your exercise out from your daily. They stripped it away. They took it out of your day and they sold it back to you. It's kind of like when like developers go into a new area, they strip all the good soil out, they put it in bags, and they sell it to you after you buy your house, right? So this is kind of what has happened to the exercise life because exercise really is a new thing. The weightlifting machine basically came around for burn victims or victims of some kind of trauma like that and they were actually given hormones, and then they were told to use these machines to actually rehabilitate themselves. And this is when it came around, why it came around, and it was like the late 1800s. And then shortly after that, not shortly, like maybe 30, 40, 50, whatever years after that, Arthur Jones came around and he created the Nautilus Company. Most people who have ever heard of workouts, equipment, or whatever have heard of Nautilus. Arthur Jones created Nautilus, and he also created a system where you go from machine to machine, and he sold it to these gyms, and the gyms weren't really, there was not that many gyms up until Arthur Jones. He sold this to them. So all he had to do was sell these machines to the gym. The machine just had to buy them. You got this trainer who had no idea what they were doing, no idea what they were doing. And they would tell you just to go from machine to machine to machine. And this is kind of how it started. They took out any kind of physical activity from our day to day. And they sold it back to us because they had this little system where you would go in, you would pay your monthly dues or whatever to the gym. You would go in and you've got to do 1, 3, and 5 today. And then you'll do 1, 3, and 5 today. And then you pay a trainer to do 1, 3, and 5 because 1, 3, and 5 already is self-explanatory, but you're just not capable of reading instructions. So you get this, you pay this trainer who has no idea what they're doing most of the time. And then they just show you the machines. They stand there. They look pretty. They're always, like models and stuff like that, right? And they sell this to you. And their best hope at this gym is that you stop showing up. Why do they not want that? They want enough people showing up so it looks like they're busy, but they want enough people not showing up that they don't have a lot of wear and tear on their machines, so they don't have a lot of maintenance to do.
What do you think you're doing?
Getting my sweat on.
I build you this temple to the human body, and you're lifting what, 5 pounds?
I just did like 35 minutes on the treadmill.
I was watching you. You want to know how long it really was?
No.
8 minutes.
And this is basically what has happened to the workouts of the human body, right? So those of us who are not inclined to actually want to go work out and who don't like this like little chain system or whatever, or CrossFit now or whatever it is, it's all this like hive mentality. And if you're into that like caring what other people lift, or if you're really into that caring like how fast other people are or whatever, this is the mentality that go to the gym now. So one of the things that I'm seeing these days is people, and I swear I'm getting to a point, right? People are doing these crazy ass exercises. They're holding a dumbbell in their arms while they're squatting down on one leg, and then they're doing burpees after that. I'm like, oh my, stupid stuff. Like, where in nature, because they're trying to replicate nature, where in nature would you do this? Who's out there hunting for berries and bananas, or I guess bananas technically are a berry, but who's out there hunting for this, stuff? And they're like, hold up, everybody. I got to do some burpees. The trainer said so. Got to do them. I know I'm skinny, and I'm effortlessly skinny because I'm eating the right food. But I'm going to do some burpees. Nobody does this. And when I see people doing it at the gym, I'm like, ugh. It's like, if I'm looking for somebody to date and I see somebody doing burpees, like a female doing burpees, like, no. It's kind of like when you see them on the phone, no. So if you're not that mentality, you're not going to want to go to the gym because you don't feel like dropping doing burpees. You don't feel like dropping and doing this, or the separating the body like that's possible. So anyway, so those of us who are not into that are going to have to find another mentality of working out if you want to work out. And I know myself, I'm not really into it all that much, but I am into just going for a bike ride or just going for a walk or just, whatever, jumping on the trampoline, the Cellerciser. That's the only trampoline that I'll really use. And that really doesn't feel like working out. So the point of this whole story is if you're somebody who is driven, if you're genetically driven to go sprint, run up hills, do burpees while holding a 10-pound weight in one hand and a 30-pound weight in the other hand, balancing on a ball and ridiculous stuff. It looked like a circus act. If that's your thing, then you're genetically inclined to go work out. But if you're not, you're going to have to find something that doesn't feel like working out. And that's the point of this video, like 8 minutes into it. You're going to have to find something that you actually enjoy doing. Now, you might like cycling, like I kind of like cycling. Since the surgery, I haven't liked it as much, but I like cycling enough that it doesn't feel like an exercise, and I just go do it. Like I did a long ride, 100-mile ride with my cousin. And we were talking about this because you have plenty of time on a 100-mile ride. We were talking about this, and we were talking about how the fact that he used to love going to the gym, I used to love going to the gym, and all of a sudden we couldn't do it anymore. Like, I don't know, maybe it's because the burpee lovers moved in and had to do all these crazy workouts. Back in the day, you just had to do squats, deadlifts, chest, or bench press, overhead press, and maybe some cleans, and you could build a body that of your dreams. Now you got to do all this crazy stuff that, whatever, so, but we were talking about cycling just didn't feel like a chore. So if working out feels like a chore to you, then you're probably not going to do it because you've already got enough chores, right? You got kids, you got work, you got whatever. You got to take them places. You got to take yourself places. You got all this kind of stuff. People got cars now because they moved out to the suburbs. So the working out that you would have gotten just by your simple day to day, like walking around, or like if you live in like a big city, you walk to school, you walk home from school, you walk to work, you walk home from work. You walk, if you want to go to lunch, you walk there. You walk everywhere, like downtown or like different places. Even here, I know some people who have never had a driver's license in their life, and they are rail thin, and they have some of the worst diets. So, can you imagine if you combined a really good diet with somebody who doesn't have a driver's license? It would be insane. But if you do have a driver's license, you're going to have to really watch your diet. You're going to high carb, low fat. If not, you're going to be the yo-yo, and you're going to have to find probably something that you enjoy doing to get your body moving. Now, I've been resistant to this, and I've talked about it in some of my interviews and some of my videos, but when I really look back at it, I have never lost weight without doing some kind of exercise almost every day. I just haven't. I was talking to somebody on the DMs yesterday about, well, you don't really have to work out, and that's just not my reality. That just is not my reality. I cannot lose weight without doing cardiovascular activity of some kind. Now, and somebody's like, well, can you lift weights? I lifted weights for years. If I was going to get skinny from lifting weights, I would have done it. It just doesn't happen for me. I was even high carb, low fat lifting weights, and I still wasn't losing the weight. So it has to be cardiovascular activity. I think you have to have your heart rate to a certain whatever for a certain amount of time. My chiropractor used to say 40 minutes is like that golden ticket. And that's actually how I started. So that's another thing that I want to talk about. So don't start like 4 hours a day. Don't do it. If you can only run to the end or like walk or whatever to the end of the street and back, start there. Why kill yourself in the beginning? Because you're just going to have to keep adding more to it. Just start off slow in the beginning. And I know I've made videos about this before, and I think this video is almost to myself because if I had listened to myself, I would be where I wanted to. If you look at videos from me from last year at this time when I was actually like just riding on my trainer for 30 minutes a day. And then once it got nice enough to ride outside, because I have kind of turned into a fair weather rider, I admit it. I started riding outside, but I mean, if I look at myself in them videos, I was looking real good. Real good. And I stopped doing it. And, because it also de-stresses you, and it also takes away, if you believe in anxiety, it takes that away too. It takes this stuff away along with a high carb, low fat diet. So this stuff goes away. And because it all goes away, your cortisol starts going down. And when your cortisol starts going down, then you can finally lose weight. If your cortisol is high, you're never going to lose weight. Never. It's not possible. It is not possible. Cortisol literally will not let it happen. If you have too much insulin in your system, it literally will not let it happen. So what you're going to have to do is find things and actually exercise in and of itself. And this video is pretty much for me. So hopefully it does you some good too. If it does, leave some comments down below. But it helps with insulin sensitivity. If you are exercising, it helps with the insulin issues that you might have. And if you have insulin issues, you're not going to lose weight at all. I don't care what you do. Other than liposuction or whatever, you're not going to lose weight. Even if you have your stomach stapled, I just can't see how that it's not going to backfire. Like I know some people have had this stomach thing, and they gained the weight back. They lost a ton of weight, and then they gained some weight back because it just you are eating the wrong thing and doing the wrong thing. Anyways, I think that's enough ramble for this video. the point of the story is, if you are the person in this chapter right here that cannot get themselves to go to the gym or whatever else it is, because you kind of know that this stuff is being sold to you, right? This stuff would have been so natural back in the day. You wouldn't have been lifting ergonomically created weights. You would be out there lifting stuff to move things here and there. It would not be this, you know, like, if that's one thing too, like, you can go in the forest or woods or whatever. This is one thing that I have done, and find like logs and stuff and just kind of move them around. My buddy and I went and did that a few times. That is an insane workout, and that actually feels so natural. But if you can't, like, you have to be pretty strong to do that. But, you know, you can work your way up to that. If you want to do something like that, it feels so completely natural. Now, don't go taking the logs with you, because I think you can get arrested for that. But, you know, you have to find just different things to do for yourself that don't feel like working out, especially if you have the genetics that don't really want to work out, which I'm assuming is a vast majority of us, right? It feels so stupid to have to pay to go to a gym to do this stuff on this the treadmill and the stepper and blah, blah, you know, doing burpees and whatever else. Just buy a bike, or just buy a trampoline, or just whatever, and have fun with it. Like the Sellerciser is saying, is don't work out when you can play in, or whatever. Whatever makes sense to you. You can buy a mini trampoline and bounce for a while and watch TV if you have to catch up on your shows or whatever. If you have to have that workout. All right, I just got done with my ride. Hopefully it actually captured, because the GoPro died like halfway through the ride, so not great. Hopefully if I fully charge the battery, it does a lot better than what it did today. Hopefully it saved. If it did, you'll see it, and I will get back to the video. If you're interested in what I eat in a day, I'm going to include a video here. It's an older video. It's the last one I shot, but I'm going to leave it here. And I'm also going to leave down here an interview that I did with Georgie. I find his interview very interesting about sugar and how it can help you. I know a lot of people comment that he's a little big. Not everybody wants to be super trim, all right? So you got to keep that in mind. And he also adds a lot of fat and protein into his diet, so that's also going to hinder your progress. But the actual part about the sugar is very interesting. Anyway, go check these videos out, and I'll talk to you in the next video.